Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we have the quarterfinals, round 2, Praxis versus the Shredder. This is a good one. Everyone that you're seeing going forward are pretty good matchups. I mean, out of the whole lineup, the Praxis versus the Shredder does seem kind of fitting. You know, geez. I jumped around because I did not want to do my other ones because they're so close. They're going to be hard. Let's move on. Praxis versus the Shredder. All right, so as usual, we will grade these on 7 different topics: aesthetics, ergonomics, quality, which in this case, quality feel, fidget factor, blade, carry, and value. Carry profile, blade shape, usefulness of the blade, that type of thing. So without further ado, I'm about to make you guys wait 5 seconds. Dramatic pause. Dramatic pause. Dramatic pause. Sorry, I'm getting something to drink. Should have thought about this before I started. All right, aesthetics. Kind of difficult. This one aesthetically has more going on. You got the black and the red. You got this thumb hole right here that provides a lot of fidget factor. I mean, this Shredder's fidget factor is through the roof. So, spoiler alert, guess who wins that one? The Praxis. This fat, it's almost kind of like a Spyderco leaf-shaped blade in a way, right? You know, it's huge. It's relatively just like straightforward, but ergonomically a beast. You know, the weight of the blade really gives it that drop shut type of feel, even though it's a pseudo just due to gravity. Ergonomically speaking, you're kind of comparing, just like the bodybuilder to like the Muay Thai artist, right? I mean, you got this precision, stabby, like sleek, just I'm gonna friggin' do some evil things. And then this thing's just like, I want to break everything. I don't know if either one of those ever said that or think that in their life if they have a brain, but that's kind of the way I see these two. I kind of see this one, hey bro, let's go get some protein shakes. And then this guy just speaks Filipino because he's awesome and really fast at kickboxing. I said Filipino there. That's the wrong one. Racist comment? No, that's more like Thai. But you guys get the point. It's just insane, right? Hey, that was a bad reference, Filipino. What a dick. No, Thai. Some Muay Thai. So, that was supposed to be hilarious. All right, so aesthetics. I got to give the aesthetic win to the Shredder. I feel like there's more going on here. This red and black G10, the sleek look, and the blade shape is just awesome. Now, this is just a brute. I mean, this guy could easily have won that aesthetics too. It's just I feel like there's more going on with the Shredder to kind of give it the aesthetic win. And I got to write this down before I change my mind because I'm actually tempted to change my mind on this. The Praxis is fantastic too. Ergonomics. So the Shredder, this is awesomely ergonomic. This feels great. And I love this ramp up here. The jimping, take it for what you will. But this ramp up just feels great in your hand. It kind of reminds me of the Durus. Not the Durus, the Falcon that replaced my Durus. But this feels more substantial. I feel, let's angle it like I talked about in the other video. This feels like it's really locked in. This feels really locked in. Can I get as precise as I can with this? Well, no, because I feel like, these are both, ergonomically speaking, the only reason that this is going to the Praxis is because you have a fatter handle here, which allows for more of your hammies to get around that handle, right? Realistically, you can lock in here. This is almost as good with the lock in right here. You got this area for your finger with this awesome forward finger choil. Same thing right here, and actually they're probably milled from the same machine. They look exactly the same. But you do have a slight ramp up top there with a little bit of jimping. Is that a little bit too shallow for me? Yeah, but I mean, doing this feels just as good. So ergonomically, I mean, I'm giving it to the Praxis. Not because it won the aesthetics, but I like being able to get a little bit more of my hand around there. This I feel like my fingers are starting to hit the palm of my hand when I'm using it. Now, is this something that you're going to notice when you're using this knife? Probably not. You're probably going to pick it up and you're not going to say, which one feels better to cut boxes with? Well, both of them, dumbass. They got a fucking good blade on them. But to me, the Praxis feels better for the ergonomics. So there you go. Now, moving forward onto quality feel. This is a quality feel. Like I said, I hate explaining this over and over. I should have never done quality feel, but I'm committed to it now. Quality feel is basically how the knife feels in your hand. It's not based on the quality of the knife because they are both civivis. They are both centered just fine. The actions are great on both. And the Praxis's action feels better, but you get a little bit more fidget factor with this guy. I mean, it's just, you know, there's a lot going for both of these knives. This is going to sound kind of dumb, but when I carry the Praxis, you feel the weight, and the weight of this actually feels like it holds more quality. Now, that's a dumb reason to give it the win, because this one, another reason why Ergonomics might have lost for this one is because, look at this forward finger choil. I don't know if you guys can see it that well. You have a lot skinnier area right here leading up to the blade, whereas this one, it's just the bottom of the blade that gets skinny. It does feel a little uncomfortable. Just noticed it. But anyways, I'm going to give the quality feel to the Praxis just because it feels heavier in hand. This, and that's not to say that a heavier knife always wins, but when there's no definitive, win for either or, it has to go to what you feel when you have it in your hand. And this feels great. This doesn't feel cheap, but this feels like it was well built, like it's solid, like I can do a shit ton of work with this knife. I got to give it to the Praxis. Now, off the top of my head, one second. I want to check this blade real quick. I don't remember if the Praxis is 9CR18 MOV or D2. And of course, I can't fucking find it in the middle of the video. 9CR, okay. So, getting into the Fidget Factor, hands down, just because of this opening in the shredder, you have that. Yeah, to me, that alone is going to take this thing far when it comes to Fidget Factor. Yes, it's not the most drop shitty, but this blade is so thin. It has no weight behind it whatsoever. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. That's a pretty straightforward one. Shredder gets the fidgetability, or Fidget Factor. If you want to keep up with the grading, they are tied right now. The Shredder has the aesthetics and the Fidget Factor, while the Ergonomics and the quality feel are going to the Praxis. The blade. This isn't as close as I originally had thought. This blade is meant to do some motherfucking work, okay? And it's D2. This blade is meant to do some motherfucking work. And this is also not D2, 9CR18 MOV, not a want. To me, 9CR18 MOV is, I love it. I wish that they wouldn't have moved from that to the D2. Mainly because we're getting D2 fatigue, right? I mean, everything's in D2 and you're kind of like, ugh. But it is a much more stainless material than the D2, which I will do in a segment where I go through all the steels. I keep promising that, but it's a lot of work and I just haven't gotten the knowledge that I need completely to act like I have the knowledge I need completely to do the video. But I will tell you that I love the fact that this is stainless and this blade isn't dainty. This blade, I'm going to break off that tip if I haven't already. That tip is going to break. If you're trying to do anything with it, while this is still a dainty tip, it has a little bit more material than this. This is a super stabby blade. Now, it depends on what you're using the blade for, right? Should 9CR win over D2? Take it or leave it. Some are you going to say yes, some are you going to say no. To me, it's a no. I think they're equally, a little less edge retention, but a lot more stain resistance. Take it for what you will. I enjoy sharpening. Does that mean I want to go get like an AUS4 blade or something like that? No. But you guys get the point. I don't mind sharpening, and this blade is just built to do work. This blade is also built to do work, but I feel like over time, this is going to last longer with this blade. It's not going to rust, has a lot more weight and beefiness to it, and that to me is where it takes a cake. Not to mention, with this thumb hole, I haven't experienced it so much, but I know that if you're trying to use the length of this blade to cut through something, that will catch. This is just me justifying the blade, why I went with the Praxis, but take that for what you will. All right, so blade is going to the Praxis. Praxis is up by 1. Carry. This is going to be a little bit subjective, and this all feels subjective at some point, but they both have a very deep carry where you have to give the win to the shredder is the fact that they are about just the same length. Excuse me. Just about the same length. The shredder is not as tall of a knife. Barely. Length is the same. And it just, while the width is the same, its carry profile is much more slender. You can see right there the blade on this is sticking out quite a bit. And you can even see me trying to hold it. And the ass end wants to stick out up here. So you can see that's the only reason that the shredder really gets the win, is they're the same thing. This is just going to take up less space. And the shredder's a little bit lighter, so so the shredder has to get the carry there, but it's not going to get the carry against most other knives. So once again, we are tied, which is why this is awesome. I did not set up the Praxis versus the shredder. It's just I literally went down my list and paired up the 2 winners that were next to each other and the 2 winners that were also next to each other in the bottom, etc., etc., etc. So these are 2 very good knives to compare against each other, and once again, which is nice. And actually, you know what? I did kind of put the like ones alike now that I'm thinking about it. I said I went down the list, and I did, but I did not want to compare the Praxis with, like, say, the Elementum yet. It's not that one I think is going to win over the other, but it's hard to compare apples to apples. I want to compare apples to apples, and then at the end, if I have to do the oranges versus the apples, we'll do that. So, here you go. Value. Where's my other sheet? I know the shredder's coming in at much more expensive. The shredder is coming in at $61. Guys, the Praxis is coming in at a whopping $42 frickin' dollars. Literally $20 less than this guy. It is 1/3 less than the shredder. I mean, that alone wins. The Praxis wins. The value on the Praxis is, I talked about the Elementum in my last video and how you don't get a much better value for $50. You don't get a much better value than $42 for this. I mean, insane. So, your guys' winner, the Civivi Praxis. There's the loser club. See it right there. The Civivi Praxis. This is your guys' winner for the day. Round 2 of the quarterfinals goes to the Civivi Praxis. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. Please stay safe, stay sharp. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I don't want to say have a great day. I feel like I'm stealing that from Metal Complex. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, I'm Tyler. I'm going to keep trying different sign-offs until one works. That one didn't. Thank you.